I just wrote yesterday. It's hard to remember the words. Let's see. Oh, yeah. The girls are out the bingo and the boys are getting stinko. We ain't no more of a go on a Sudbury Saturday night. The glasses they will tinkle when our eyes begin to twinkle, and we ain't no more of a go on a Sudbury Saturday night. Well, Irish Jim O'Connell there and Scotty Jack McDonald. There's Honky Frederick Herschel getting fight, well that's alright. There's Happy German Fritzy there with Frenchy getting tipsy. And even Joe the Gypsy knows he's Saturday tonight. Now when Mary Ann and Mabel come to join us at the table and tell us how the bingo went tonight, we'll look a fright. But if they won the money, we'll be laughing up the honey boys, 'cause everything is funny for see Saturday tonight. Yeah, the girls here out the bingo and the boys are getting stinko. We ain't no more of a go on a Sudbury Saturday night. The glasses they will tinkle when our eyes begin to twinkle, and we ain't no more of a go on a Sudbury Saturday night. We'll drink the loot we borrowed and recuperate tomorrow, 'cause everything is wonderful tonight. We had a good fight. We ate the dilly pickle and we forgot about the nickel. Everybody's tickled for see Saturday tonight. The songs that we'll be singing, they might be wrong, but they'll be ringing. And all the lights of town are shining bright, and we're all tight. We'll get to work on Monday, but tomorrow's only Sunday, and we're out to have a fun before see Saturday tonight. Yeah, the girls here out the bingo and the boys are getting stinko. We ain't no more of a go on a Sudbury Saturday night. The glasses they will tinkle when our eyes begin to twinkle, and we ain't no more of a go on a Sudbury Saturday night. We think no more of a go on a Sudbury Saturday night. Thank you so much. You're one hell of a crowd. Thank you.
And we're live! Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. John, David, you look different. What's going on here? Joining us is John, Chris, Salata, and Mary T. Wells. Welcome. Mary, how are you doing?
I'm good. I know you were not going to go with those names.
I'm never going to get names right. That's something you can always guarantee you're going to screw them up. We got Mary here, and Chris, and Katie, and Marla, and Donald. Chris, how you doing?
Hey, I'm living a dream, man. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, it's good to have you here. David may be popping in. I don't know. He's currently, I think, at the Poly. That's where he's staying, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So their flight got in really late. They had to change gates at Newark, and they had to go through security twice, and
Oh.
yeah, they were off to a rough start. But they finally made it to Walt Disney World. They were on Magical Express, and they got to the resort, and they're exhausted. And they started getting they're worn out. But they woke up like what, 4 in the morning?
Yeah, I think so. And
yeah.
they like to unpack, and that's what we like to do too, is like get settled. It helps, with Colton.
Yeah.
I didn't think they would usually go to a park the first day, but
Yeah,
maybe.
Marla's saying they should be at Magic Kingdom right now. So
Oh, okay.
I know that they missed their Ohana reservations because of the flight delay.
Oh,
I messaged him. I said, David, tell the pilot if he has any shortcuts, use them today because I want to get there in a hurry.
As long as the shortcuts don't include anything regarding takeoff or landing.
Yeah.
yeah. I don't really want shortcuts.
Yeah, I can get to Florida sooner, but we might not make it to Orlando. What else we got here? Hello, Chris and Mary. At least we know Tony's is safe tonight. Chris, I don't know if you know or not, but Mary's is whenever she goes to Walt Disney World, Tony's is on high alert because of all the death threats she's made to that restaurant. Yeah, security follow around, make sure she doesn't have any Molotov cocktails on her or anything like that.
Follows her until she gets just past the confectionery.
Yeah. They make sure she doesn't do a quick loop around. David was live a little while ago on the ferry to Magic Kingdom. Oh, okay, so there we go. So they're probably in Magic Kingdom then.
They're changing things up because they always would unpack and get settled.
Well, I think they did that. But their
just...
plan was Magic Kingdom
Okay.
Today, but he wasn't sure where he was going to be at what time and whatnot. But anyways,
Okay.
we have a fun-filled show without them. We wanted to start with the deal of the week and then go into news.
Float the monorail.
Float the monorail? Let's see here.
Float.
So we have a heck of a good deal this week. Mary, I'll let you read it when I put it up on the screen because you know me, I'll mispronounce every other word.
Okay, Old Key West. So it's a check-in. Oh, this is for the 50th, 9/28. Checkout 10/5, 7 nights. A 1-bedroom, standard view. Sleeps 5 people and an infant. Probably a refurbed room because I think they're done that. Total cost, let's see. So, $3,723. Okay.
That includes your
For a week. That's
PayPal Fields
1
fees.
bedroom.
And that's a savings of over $2,752 if you're booking through Disney. So, quite the same. Now, I know both Chris and Mary, you guys are both DVC. Have you stayed at Old Key West?
Just last week, as a matter of fact. While I stayed in a 2-bedroom, obviously their 1-bedrooms are, most of that at the beginning, and yeah, they've done a really nice job with the refurbs on those. I mean, it still has all the charm of Old Key West, just with some very slight updating, and it was very nicely done.
And
Biggest
there it
DVC
is.
rooms too.
So for DVCrental.com, or sorry, DVC-rental.com, dash to save the cash. Go to see Dash Rental on Facebook. Check them out on YouTube, DVC Rental. Also on Instagram on DVC Rental and Twitter at DVC Rental. To get this deal, email Scott at DVC-rental.com. Let him know you heard about it here on Disney Night Live. And that Stan sent you there. And they also... Did I do this one yet? Here we go. You see how they say one in here twice? No, this is the buy and sell part of DVC Rental. They buy and sell, and they also do the deals. So I was kind of checking out their website this morning, looking at deals, and they have one for the 50th. Actually, it's just before the 50th at Saratoga Springs. I was so tempted to bite it, but we were talking about before we went on air the restrictions for Canadians going into the U.S. And man, they're not making it easy. first of all, every time you go to look at any restrictions, they say that you don't advise travel unless it's necessary. I mean, well, you have the Disney vacation. Of course, it's necessary.
It's been a long time, so it's getting to be very necessary.
Yeah, no kidding. What is Mary saying, Donald? If even if Stone Security is here, you have to mention it. So Don has stayed at Old Key West, and he says the rooms are huge. Yeah,
They are.
I've never stayed DVC. One of these days. One of these days. So what's happening with you two? What did you guys? What are you guys up to today? Chris?
Well, let's see.
Go ahead, Chris.
Okay. Well, I was just being polite. It's just one of those things. Today was just one of those days where it's like, try to get a few things done around the house. That didn't happen. I had to go up north a little bit to pick up my son from a camp out because, being that he is an Eagle Scout that tends to go camping now almost every weekend, it seems like if I'm not working, I am picking him up or taking him somewhere.
You're an official Lambo service now.
Yeah, I mean it's a good thing. He loves it, and I'd rather see him do stuff like that than sit around the house and do nothing constructive. So it's all good. I'm really happy to be here tonight as well. I kind of chilled out a little bit this afternoon just to kind of just to kind of get some relaxation in because hey, what can I say? It's just it's been very busy lately, so
Yeah.
kind of need it. So
Yeah. And Mary?
Well, we're still trying to get settled in our new house, and when I put my TV on the wall in the old house, I said, I'm never going to need that stand, so I got rid of the stand.
Guess what?
and I don't know. I think I really did get rid of it, so I just bought a new stand for now because I haven't, eventually want to get a bigger TV, so I had to put the stand together and get the TV on.
Oh, nice.
Everything's working. Hook up the Fire Stick.
Yeah.
So
busy day.
one day we'll be done, I hope.
So my daughter's getting married in 2 weeks today. So we were originally planning on going at like wedding stuff shopping a couple of weeks ago, but the restrictions were only one person per household in a store, so we weren't allowed to go together. So finally, I got a Saturday off. She has a Saturday off, so we decided to go today, and it was a lot of fun. Just being able to hang out with my daughter. I don't get to see, she moved away from home now. We don't get to hang out with her that much, and we went out for lunch. It was great, and bought wedding stuff for her wedding. It was a nice.
the
nice
never-ending wedding stuff.
Yeah. Well, I only have 2 weeks left to worry about it, and then after that, it's done. So, getting down to the nitty gritty. Linda was an awesome Old Key West 2-bedroom by HH.
Hospitality House.
Oh, okay, in February for 6 family. Before the BWV 2-bedroom was a studio for us in February. Nice. Was Saturday's Gus's garage open?
For those of you who don't know, I sometimes do a little thing called Gus Man's Garage, mainly because I'm a gearhead and I tend to work on my cars as well as I have actually worked on listeners' cars. Listeners have actually come by my house and say, "Hey, Chris, can you fix my ride?" No, not today, but tomorrow. I've got some operations I have to do on the Gus Mobile. But yeah, it's one of those things. Right now, the Gusman Garage is a total complete disaster area. It needs a good cleaning. Lately, I've been, kind of avoiding certain things just because I haven't really recovered from all the moves that my daughter has done.
Mm-hmm.
And the last move that she did was, it was back in like November, so I really shouldn't have any excuse. But then, winter was there, couldn't do anything. Then it was getting ready for her to get married, which was a week ago yesterday. And then, of course, I am finally trying to just recover from a Disney trip. So I know excuses are like noses. Everybody's got one, but it's one of those things.
Yeah. So I thought we'd dust off.
I haven't fixed this phone.
Sorry, go ahead.
That was Steve, the one that asked that question,
yeah.
because I haven't fixed his phone to say.
Yeah, his is coming up Facebook user.
I know that Steve has always liked those particular segments that I've done, and I always appreciate his input to those things.
So, seeing as how John and David aren't here, I figured I'm going to dust off the Wheel of News. It's been a while since we did this segment, and I asked Ken, voiceover guy Ken, to record a little intro for the Wheel of News. So he did. I haven't really listened to it yet, but so let's try this out.
Disney Night Live presents The Wheel of Murder. Wait, that doesn't sound right. I really wish Stan had better handwriting. I think I've got it. Disney Night Live presents The Wheel of News. Yes, nailed it.
Okay, I really got to start typing these to Ken instead of handwriting them. that's pretty bad. So the way the Wheel of News works is I bring up the big old wheel, we give it a spin, and whatever land is on, that's what we talk about. So let's give it a go.
Where's the beeping sounds? Just kidding.
Oh, you're not hearing it? Oh, I have it too quiet. Not every resort open for the 50th. So Disney announced this week when all the resorts are opening. And so Port Orleans Riverside isn't open yet. Port Orleans French Quarter isn't open yet. The All-Stars isn't open yet. But now the All-Stars music is now available for booking. So you can contact your favorite travel agent. Did that guy shock you guys at all?
To be honest with you, no, it really doesn't. And I think, having been just down there, there's still a pretty significant shortage of cast members. And while I don't have any cast member horror stories from my recent trip, I mean there were very few that were just floating around different resorts, and every last one of them were pretty busy. So I know that everybody's probably, I don't want to say probably tired of hearing that type of excuse for Disney not necessarily opening things, but it's a very valid and a very real excuse. It's a very real possibility, at least in my mind's eye, that you can't just throw people in there, and you can't just open up a resort like flipping a switch. They're going to have to do some deep cleaning on it. They're going to have to make sure that everything is ready to rock, and because darn good and well that if they open up the resorts, the first guests go in there, and it's not absolutely perfect, it's going to have a big backlash on Disney.
Yeah. There's I imagine it to clean every sheet, every window, it's been sitting for a year, empty.
Over a year. Almost a year and a half now.
Plus, they got to train all the people too. I mean, it's not just like, oh, go to work. They're going to need training, and there's new protocols they're doing. And
now I had
so.
two people that recently went. Actually, George is there now, and then another friend that went, and they both said that they've never seen so many Earning My Ears name tags as they have on this trip.
Well, to be honest with you, I think there's a lot of people that think that every last cast member that got laid off, furloughed, or otherwise let go is just going to automatically come back and just step into it. And, that's just not real. That's not realistic. And, a lot of them most likely had to go make some magic elsewhere at a different company or what have you in order to make ends meet. They couldn't wait for Disney. And I know that's probably the most un-Disney or unmagical thing a person can really lay out there. But, they had bills to pay, they had people to take care of, and it's time for the next generation of cast members to come up. So
now the other thing too is, so international travel isn't really open yet Disney World is known as an international destination. I don't know what the percentages were before COVID, how many people were international, how many people were US tourists. But there was a lot of people from all over the world. I would often just, when I would go on solo trips in particular, just kind of ask people where you're from and whatnot. And I think I met people from all over the world doing it that way. Did they not think they would need these resorts open, or is it just they can't get the people? Like it seems like these parks are more crowded now than ever.
I think they just can't get them quick enough.
Yeah,
And I think Mary, I think you put it also the point of people can't get trained.
yeah.
These people are coming in, and it's going to take more than 2 weeks to earn their ears, so to speak, in order to make sure it's taken care of.
Is it surprising that they opened up All Stars versus Riverside? I guess Riverside's much bigger and French Quarter is much smaller, so maybe that was nice medium. But the price point, Disney would make more, you would think, on a moderate opening.
I actually think that they probably would do better, because if you think about it, it's a little bit simpler of a resort in the sense of the rooms, the amenities, and things like that. And yeah, you're right. French Quarter is one of the smallest moderates out there. In fact, I think it is the smallest moderate
It is the smallest,
out there. And French Quarter being kind of a close second, but still a little bit more on the spread outside. But I think that there's probably a lot to be said about the All Stars, and they probably feel like they can. They probably actually thought about the price point, like you said, Stan. I mean, they probably thought they want to fill those rooms, and the only way they're going to fill those rooms is to have the price point.
Yeah.
It's kind of an economical thing at that
Now,
point.
having said that, I looked today. It's $180 a night for the 50th week at the All Star Sports or All Star Music. Exactly. Now, plus taxes, you're getting close to $200 a night.
No, you're at $200 a night easy, because you're talking at least 10% in taxes and everything else like that.
Yeah.
And that's. I remember when I can get rooms over there for $69 a night. Port Orleans, Riverside. I think the first time I stayed there was probably $115 a night. All in, and I won't go into that. That's not. Back in the day, we used to be able to have these nice trips for under $1,000, and it just didn't really happen these days.
Yeah. Yeah, $100 a night. I think did that include tickets though? Was that a package deal?
No,
that wasn't. No, that was just the room only.
No, like an AP discount. I remember being $69.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I remember getting Animal Kingdom Lodge for $129.
Yeah. See, Donald says a point here too about the transportation. Is you could kind of. I know they don't do that when it's busy. They only like the All Stars now, but when it's quieter, they'll visit all 3 All Star resorts.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. I mean, let's face it. I know I know it's a little off the beaten path of the news that we're talking about, but it's a reality thing, and it is also going to be one of the busiest, most highest demand weeks out there, and there's something to be said about supply and demand. I mean, there are people that want to go for that 50th, and Disney would actually, from an economical perspective, from a business perspective, Disney would be doing themselves a disservice by not putting a premium on any room that they open up at this point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. So Marta says she has Port Orleans French Quarter reserved for the 29th, and they now need to move her.
Okay.
How did you get the French Quarter booked?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Moderates are in the 300s. Pop is clearing over 200 a night. Yeah, Pop was getting close to 200 a night last year, or in 2019.
Actually, the funny part is my wife and I were just talking about this. When I bought into DVC, almost 15 years ago, I remember spending almost $200 a night at Wilderness Lodge. And it was one of those reasons why I bought it at DVC. Like, I could just take that money I'm saving on a monthly basis to rent a room and put it towards a DVC membership. Now, as I said, I did that calculation at $200 a night, and now $200 a night is a value. $300 is a moderate, and it's way above that for deluxe. So, and it is what it is right now.
So I see in the waiting room here, it's dark. But David made it. Oh, no, he's gone. He was waiting for a while.
Disney Wi-Fi. Can't trust it.
I don't know what happened there. Okay, he'll probably pop back on again.
Yeah.
So, what do we have here next?
Spin it again here.
I need to turn it up.
Oh, now I hear it.
I did too.
VIP.
So changes to the VIP tour. So I'm not sure if anyone's heard this about this yet or not, but as a lot of people know, the VIP tour, which how much it's like David's here now. Okay, we'll get back to the VIP tour. Let's see what David. There he is. Where? Can you hear us? He doesn't have his earbuds in.
Hi guys.
Okay, first thing you got to do.
Sorry, I can't hear you. I forgot the one thing that I needed was my headphones.
Is rotate your phone.
Someone.
We're online for Pirates. I'm sorry I can't hear you. I promise I'll wear my headphones tomorrow in all of our lives, but I totally forgot when we left the room. So
Okay.
here's a real quick peek of Pirates, the line. So we just got off Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, which had a 30-minute posted wait, and we only waited like maybe 15 minutes. There's a baby, huh? So, but I'm sorry I can't hear anything you guys are saying. Thank you for filling in, and I'll talk to you guys later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Love you all.
It's a Stan thing. Stan, that drives me nuts. When people do it like this.
Gotta have the earphones too.
And you got to have the earphones. I told them, bring your earphones. I got it back there. Don't worry. You told me 12 times.
You can't hear otherwise.
So back to the thing. So the DVC, the tours, the VIP tours, when Rise of Resistance first came out, the VIP tours, you could not ride Rise of Resistance. So starting, I'm not sure if it was today or yesterday, it's now included in the VIP tour, where you can ride Rise of Resistance as part of your VIP tour. Now, I don't know if you could do it 20 times, because Mary, you've done the VIP tour, and it is a matter of you just tell them what you want to do, where you want to go, and they take you there.
You can go on it many, many times.
So is
But I
that
don't know
something
about-
they can do now? Can you just go and ride Rise 12 times with the VIP tour?
What you pay for the VIP tour, I think you should be able to go on Rise at least once.
At least, yeah.
I mean, come on.
I would think at least once. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know how many tours they do a day or whatnot. I can't see it affecting the lineups that much or the booking.
I wouldn't think. But I mean, it is, it can be 10 people
Yeah.
for each tour guide. So, if you booked 2 tour guide, so it could. But I would think once they could let you go on it, at least,
How many people fit in the vehicle? Is it 10? Is it 5 and 5, or is it 3 and 3 or 4 and 4?
No,
I thought it was more than that.
it was more than that. We had our group of 7. No.
I thought it was like 10 or 20. I haven't been on it, but that's.
I'm thinking about what we did last week, because we had our group of, let's see.
I'm trying to remember. Is it 3 rows?
No, we had 7, and I think there were 3 rows. Unfortunately, I was in the front row, so I kind of.
I've only been in the front also. I've ridden it twice, and both times it was in the front.
Yeah, so I mean, but we fit all 7 on them, so I think it's 10 is really what it was.
So you could fit 10 on the right. So that's one car.
At least it's either 8 or 10 on one car, and it was done
Yeah.
pretty well.
So
All I can say is this: it was exactly the configuration at Star Wars Celebration 2 years ago.
I know. I'm trying to picture. In Star Wars Celebration, I sat on the vehicle by myself, and with Scott.
You should have moved and counted every seat, Stan. So
I know. Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be like one car that's going to be affected. So you have to wait a little bit longer, because the VIPs who paid $2,000 for the day get to ride it, right?
Well, the thing of it is that last week there weren't a whole lot of tours going on. Well, not a lot of VIP out there yet.
That's the other thing that surprised me. That I didn't think there were any tours going yet.
No, there. I mean, not necessarily tours. I probably shouldn't be
You're
careful how
talking
I say it.
VIP tours, like not
The VIP, experiences and so on and so forth. I did see them at every park. I did not see large numbers of them going through. If I saw one at every park, I think that would be safe
Yeah.
to say, oh, one, maybe two. But it was just not a very common sighting as it has been pre-COVID.
yeah. And you don't get like the Keys to the Kingdom tours and happening right now.
Those are not happening
Yeah.
yet. Not even the simple one like Behind the Seeds.
Yeah.
That's not even happening yet.
Yeah. So I don't think it will affect anything. Is
No,
this
I don't think so.
Neil? Hello, Neil.
Oh, it's Neil. Okay. Hey, Neil.
VIP tour guides are happening at Disneyland. Yeah.
Okay.
I done the Walking in Walt's Footstep tour at Disneyland. That was so good. Alrighty.
Let's see what we got
I'm gonna
next.
turn up.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Less mobile orders happen in locations. You know, it's funny that it celebrates at every one of these because some of them are celebrations.
No.
So during COVID and when up until like yesterday or today, you could only order via mobile ordering, right?
Most places, yeah. And
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, it was great for about 90% of the things that you need to do.
So
If,
So I looked at the My Disney Experience app today, and the only mobile ordering you could do in Epcot was the Regal Eagle Smokehouse. There was no other mobile ordering at all at Epcot today.
I'm
And
really surprised.
Apparently, yesterday was the same way, which begs the question: is they doing away with it completely, or was this a glitch, or what's going on there?
I think your speculation is about as good as any, and time will only tell. I can tell you that it was very widely used week before. We widely used it. It was a great tool. It needed a little bit of tweaking, but very little bit of tweaking. Usually, if you had a special dietary restriction or something like that, there were some things that it lacked along those lines. And I will say this: I think some cast members were having a hard time directing guests to help them in those particular manners as well. And at the same time, for those people that didn't have a smartphone, needed to pay cash or something to that extent, there were some places that were listed as strictly only mobile order, and cast members weren't even really able to help. I'm hoping that's the glitch because I got used to it by the end of last week, and I really enjoyed using it. I mean, it was absolutely fabulous. I mean, they even had at Old Key West, you can order to go from Olivia's. And what was neat was that because I was in a room that's on the other side of Hospitality House, I put in my order. I said, "I'm here. Start my order." I would walk over to where they were, for the pickup, which was over at Goods to Go. I waited maybe 3 or 4 minutes. Boom! My breakfast was there, and it was one of the most excellent experiences that you can do. So I'm hoping that's a glitch.
Well, and the other thing too is it because it's Epcot? Like, I'm thinking case of the fish and chip stand. I don't know if you need mobile ordering there.
Well, you have Sunshine Seasons.
Sunshine Seasons, like, do you need mobile ordering there?
They had it there.
Yeah.
They had it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and being that it's a limited menu so far, I would say yes. There was
Now, hang on. How does it work at Sunshine Seasons? Because when you go in, you get your food, and normally you would go through the cashier to pay.
basically how they did it for a lot of places like this, and this is also
In the resorts?
also at the resorts, because we actually did this over at Art of Animation as well. You know, what we would do is when your order was ready, it would say order blah blah blah, pick up at station number 1. And you would go up to station number 1, you show them your phone or tell them what your number is, and then they had it all bagged up ready for you to go.
Okay, so it's in a bag if it's mobile order and not
Yes.
on a tray.
Correct. Well, not all the time. I
Okay.
should say sometimes it was a bag, sometimes it was a tray. Like we ate.
So how does the cashier know if you did mobile ordering if you still have to pay for it?
Because it won't go through unless you pay for it on the app first. You have to pay for it on the app.
No, but
Yeah,
if you
it's
have a
paid when you
choice
order.
between doing either or, the cashier or
I
Mobile.
think if you did that, when I did see that happening, I mean, basically you had an order number, and it was one of those things that you just went up and got it after that. But in essence, your order isn't placed until it's paid for.
no. But what I'm saying, okay, so you go to Sunshine, you want to get a plate of spaghetti at Sunshine Seasons. So you do the mobile order. You pick up the plate of spaghetti. You could just walk to your table.
No.
Oh.
Basically, you do the mobile order,
Yeah.
you pay for it with the mobile order, and then when it's ready, it'll tell you where to pick it up.
Right. So now, don't you have to walk past the cashier to get to your table?
There were no cashiers.
No, but what I'm saying, if they're doing both, if they're doing cashiers and mobile order,
That's what I'm saying though. If they're going to have to do one or the other.
yeah.
And the fact of the matter is that when it was strictly mobile order, there were no cashiers. So if they're going to do it now where they are cashiers, you are correct. I didn't catch what you were saying
So
before.
that's what I'm thinking.
I would
So now I'm
probably.
thinking in Epcot, is there any place they could do both, other than Regal Eagle?
Well, okay. So the only other place that you can do would be I can never remember it, but it's what it's called. But it's over as you're walking over the bridge to World Showcase, and you turn to the right. It's right before Canada. They used to be able to get like the cronut and
Like the
fries.
refreshment stand?
I think it's called the refreshment port or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
That is one place, and I'm sorry, Mary.
like entry port
Yeah.
refreshment
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, and they still. I mean, they had mobile order.
Imagine the Mexican restaurant, the quick service.
I think they. Yes, they did. I mean, basically, if it was a quick service, they pretty much had mobile order.
Yeah.
That was very plainly seen across the board. Yeah, it's one of those. It is one of those things. And Donald actually brings up about the virtual walk-up for sit-down restaurants. Yeah, they did that. I know people have done that as well, and it really worked out well. It's also that you can check in if you have an ADR. You can check in with the app as well, and that actually worked really well.
Nice.
I've heard a lot of good things about that, and that sounds really nice as opposed to, sometimes like some of the places you'll stand in a big long line to even see if they have any walk up, and there might not be any, so you could check.
Yeah.
Right. Now, the other thing that what Donald is also saying about you have to have a credit card attached to the app, that's not 100% accurate. Yes, you have to pay by credit card, a gift card, or like the Disney redemption card if you're a Disney Visa holder. If it's one of the latter two, you can only have one of those items. So, like, let's say your order is $50, you have a $25 gift card, you could apply the $25 gift card, and then you can apply a credit card or a debit card. So, yeah, it's not just a credit card. And if there are DVC discounts or cast member discounts or AP discounts, they can be associated with the app. That actually was really nice for us over at Olivia's.
Yeah. I'll be shocked if they completely. I can't see them getting rid of mobile order, but I think there are some parts where logistically it's really hard to do mobile order and cashiers.
I don't know how they're going to do it.
Yeah. Well, obviously they're not. They only have Regal Eagle doing it today.
I guess we'll have to find out from someone who's actually there and doing that sort of thing. So
Yeah. I know, like Woody's Lunchbox is like the ideal place pre-COVID for mobile ordering.
oh yeah.
Because that line was snaking to the checkout, and I would do mobile order, walk up, get my thing, and sit down.
I think they also did that really well to a point where it's like, I think we were able to find seating for dining easier
Yeah.
because it was staggered, because you have to pick a return time, and it's not always right then and there. Sometimes that return time was 15, 20 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
We did not have as many issues finding a place to sit down to eat when we use mobile order.
Yeah.
And that's just an observation. I don't know if it's like that. Your mileage may vary, sort of thing, but it worked out well.
No, I agree completely. Same thing. Like Satuli Cantina was another one that it was easy to find a seat for some. All of a sudden, there were seats available.
They would-
mobile order.
Dude, they would not let you anywhere near the inside of that restaurant unless you had a mobile order.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, okay,
I got separated from my party, and I went to try to find them, and that was probably the only time that I actually had a cast member kind of give me a little bit of a
Static?
unmagical scowl. I'm just like, listen, I had to use the restroom. I'm sorry. I just need to go find my family.
That's twice though. You had to use the restroom before you had to eat, and you got stuck on the other side of the street during the caravan.
Something like that, But it's just
Which, by the way, you can hear that story on the Solo Show that came out this week.
yeah. No, it's just one of those things where I think they did a great job at trying to keep people from camping out at places where you people would bring their own snacks or their own food or whatever. They're cracking down on that sort of thing. So
Donald says he just checked the Disney app a lot of. Yeah, and that's how it was this morning. Magic Kingdom had a lot. Animal Kingdom had a lot. Hollywood Studios had a lot. But Epcot only had Regal Eagle Smokehouse. It was the only location at Epcot today that allowed mobile ordering. I just thought it was odd. So I figured I'll throw it on the wheel.
Maybe Epcot wasn't that busy today, because they do know where people are going to be.
Could be.
So maybe,
Yeah, could be.
Maybe there wasn't as much people and a demand for it,
It was, and the reason why I did check it because I heard that's what it was yesterday. That Regal Eagle Smokehouse was the only place yesterday as well.
The reservation system, you're right, Mary. The reservation system gives them a preemptive idea of what's going to happen, what, where, and so on and so forth. That's a good point.
Especially with the short staffing, they at least know, where everybody is and get them there.
Guess what? You're all going to Animal
the
Kingdom
short
today.
staffing.
Nobody else that.
You're all working Small World.
It takes a lot of time to train people.
Yeah.
I hate training people, and it takes a lot of time. So they got all these new cast members, and you have to train them, and it's a lot.
And keep in mind,
they got their work cut out for them.
it's not just the cast members that are returning. I mean, I have a friend of mine that as of Monday is heading down there to, I'll say, restart her college program assignment. So, there's some people that are, it's going to be interesting to see how it all works and how Disney is able to do it. I know Disney will do it well. So it's just going to be good to see when it's all done.
That's a really good point. The college program students are not 100% back yet, and when they do come back, they need to be trained. Like they're going to be all brand new people. They're not going to get hardly anyone returning.
Well, unless they have, the cast members that were college program that got released early, right when COVID hit, a lot of them did get an email with the option of being able to come back.
Okay.
That's like my friend is doing. She was a cast member between I think it was like November, December, January, and February. So she was like 3 or 4 months into her 6-month stint as a college program cast member. So she's actually going back. So the thing is that she won't necessarily have to be totally retrained if she's doing the same thing, but at least she will have more of an idea of what's going on. She'll be better suited to kind of pick up where she left off versus someone who is a total newbie.
Yeah.
You forget. Like when you haven't done something for a while, you forget.
Yeah, kids pick stuff up pretty quick. I gotta say.
You know what? Actually, to tell you the truth, Mary, you bring up something along those lines. Anything new policies and procedures that are in place that kind of took over because of how they're doing things now is probably going to be one of the bigger things that those college program cast members are going to probably have to work on.
Yeah. Oops. Let's bring in the old dusty wheel here. All right, let's celebrate about this one. I don't know why there's confetti. It's all happy. Disney Magical Express. going the way of the dodo bird. Will probably be replaced with something else. This is kind of old news, but it's people are still talking about it in social media. I know, Mary, you never use it. Chris, you always use it.
For the most part.
Battle it out.
You know, I will say this. I guess you could say this past trip we had two different types of experiences, and mainly because between myself, my wife, my son-in-law, we were on one flight. My daughter was on a separate flight. Long story, has to deal with using credits from different airlines pre-COVID.
Oh, okay.
When we arrived at the airport, which was like, I'm going to say about 9 o'clock ish in the morning on a Sunday, pretty much we stood in line for maybe 10-15 minutes to check into Magical Express. We waited maybe another 10 minutes to get on the bus. We waited another 10 minutes to leave. Very typical for Magical Express, not really a big whoop-de-doo of a deal. When my daughter got there 4 or 5 hours later, she did have to wait. Like, I think she only waited like 30 minutes to check in, 10 or 15 minutes to get on the bus, and 10 or 15 minutes, type of thing. And being that there's no more, like, I don't want to say there's no more social distancing, it wasn't, really as big of a thing as it has in the past. So the line of it going all the way down to the other end really probably was no longer the case. And they kept things going relatively smoothly, according to what my daughter had said. And going home was a piece of cake. Getting to the airport with plenty of time to check in, check luggage, get boarding passes, get through security wasn't a problem. And we actually left in the middle of the day. So they picked us up at like noon 30. We were there by 1:30, 1:45. Our flight left at 3:30. Really, it was really not an issue. And it was typical DME for us. And yes, I am going to be very sad to see it leave. I enjoyed using it as a service. I will probably look into the Mears branded service that they will use to continue the service just as a paid option. As I said, I look into it because it really is going to depend on how much it costs.
I was going to ask you, what do you think the price should be, or what are you willing to pay for that service? Half of what an Uber would cost? A third of what an Uber would cost? The same?
Well, the thing is, Uber's it varies depending on time of the day, which day, and whether or not they're going to do the what do they call it, the surge pricing. Some people said it'll cost anywhere between $45 and $70 for a ride, and there is something to be said about like my wife does not like Ubers.
Okay.
She does not prefer it. It's not her mode of transportation. She has done it with me. She will not do it by herself. And I've done it. I don't mind Ubers or Lyfts. I really don't. Myself, my price point's $20 a head each way, and that so that's $160 round trip for I'm sorry, $120 round trip for the three of us, which sounds like a lot, but being that a rental car is not something that we really need, since we pretty much stay solely on property. It might be a little more than an Uber, but probably a little bit more consistent with scheduling. As I said, it'll really be a crapshoot as to what we do. Now, most of the time we drive, we may start flying more than I'm only dealing with 3 of us instead of 4 of us, because for my daughter, it's now her husband's problem. Anyway, so sorry, Verge, if you're watching, I love you. But I think
remember that for 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll remember to put that in my speech somewhere.
You're getting a son-in-law, but your Disney budget now can be reduced.
I never took her anyways.
So here's the thing: if Mears does get it a little bit on the pricey side, let's say if they kick it up to like $30 or $40 a head or something like that, I think that'll start eating in to people's pockets, and people people will want to do things like Ubers, or even
A limo service.
I was gonna say a limo or town car services because those
Yeah.
are actually relatively well
Yeah, they're not
priced.
bad.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've done that.
Yeah, and
They're not bad.
and a lot of times they give you a grocery stop too.
Yeah.
Depending,
And they're waiting when you come down the escalator, and they'll help you get your luggage, and so
there's something to be said about
it's not
service.
too bad.
Exactly.
Yep.
But if they start getting really pricey, then they're going to price themselves out of it. That's just my 2 cents. I'm sorry that Disney won't be doing this. I know there's a number of different reasons on what contributed to this, but we'll just have to see how it works out. So, but Mary, I really would love to hear your experiences
Yeah.
in the near future.
Yeah, that's Steve. He said we did Tiffany Town Car, but I get what Jody's saying. I just think people, it's one less thing they worried. They didn't have to think about what they were going to do. They just did that. So
Yeah.
I can see where people are going to be upset about it. I guess for us, we just always like the car because we tend to go to resorts for dinners and things. And it was just easier having a car. And then in January when we stay at Animal Kingdom, it's convenient to have a car because you can park right under the hotel and you get to the car easy. And it wasn't that Animal Kingdom buses are bad because we used the bus too, but it was just, I don't know, nice to have it if you wanted to jump in the car and go go grab something at CVS, or you need to go get a prescription, or you wanted to
Yeah.
Yep. When we've
go to the store.
Yeah, when we've driven, we've had to do that sort of thing as well. And like what Linda mentioned about Uber often to restaurants and back.
Yep.
Seriously, it is one of the easiest things to do because you're usually talking about a $10 to $15 Uber ride to go from one side to another for dinner. That's one of the easiest things to do if you
Yeah.
don't have your car with. Even when I have my car on property, I tend to just leave it sit there. I've seen too many accidents on Disney property and think to myself, I need my ride to get home. It's like that's my bread and butter. So it's one of those things. I'd rather put wear and tear on somebody else's car.
Did you see any minivans, or are they completely not off the road right now?
I did not see them on the road. I caught a glimpse of them kind of parked out in the middle of a parking lot
Okay.
at one time, but all the signs are still up
Okay.
along the transportation areas, like for to point you to their pickup zones. So they're still there. They're unlike Fast Pass signs kind of going by the wayside. Totally different topic, but the minivan signs at all the parks were still very prevalent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Personally, if I had to flip a coin, they're going to come back one way or shape or form. I'm betting, and I'm not a betting man. I'll bet you a shiny quarter.
When you mentioned, let's say $20 a head, so for a family of 3 or 4, it's kind of pricey taking the mirrors. Whereas if you take an Uber, you're paying for the one Uber price. For myself, being a solo driver or solo traveler, for the $20, it's a lot cheaper than taking an Uber.
Yeah, and it all depends on your family's needs and how many are in your family. If, like you said, you travel by yourself.
For me, it's $20. For you, it's 140. So,
But you know what it comes down to is no matter what service anybody uses, it's just going to have to be added to their Disney travel budget.
yeah.
It is what it is. We can
Like
complain
COVID
about
testing.
it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for you have another line item there
I got another $100 I can add.
because all these different changes. It really comes down to what's going to be in your Disney budget, and that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Are you willing to pay it?
Jesus, we're out of time. We don't have time for one more. This went quick. Alrighty. Chris, do you have anything coming up or anything that you're doing or want to promote other than the solo show that you're on this week?
Which is a great episode. I am pushing that over on some of my social pages. Over at the Discovering Disney podcast page, I'm actually scheduling to do a little bit of a trip report / trip planning show coming up this week. mainly because I'm going to talk about some of the things that I didn't talk about on your show because we were limited by some time, but also Jessica, one of my sidekicks, is going to talk about her, planning her first post-COVID trip with her family. So we're going to kind of do some comparisons and contrasts, and it should be coming up here later this week. So just
And
kind
that's
of
where again?
it's going to be over at the Discovering Disney podcast page.
Discovering Disney podcast. Oh, right on. And Mary, how about you? What do you have? You're in all sorts of groups. You're in every group. We don't have an hour.
I just hang out in the groups and talk to everybody, which I haven't been doing quite as much since we're moving. But yeah, I just try to keep up on everything. And we're getting ready to go in September, so that happened to be when we go. So
Yeah. So make sure you
we'll be
check
there
out.
for the 50th.
Sorry, make sure you check out the solo show this week. As you enjoyed Chris tonight, was my co-host on the current episode. What do we have here? Hey, Chris, there's a chef, Chris Lord, that owns his royalty.
He's talking about Chris and Lordy.
Chris Lardy.
I'm friends with Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's where I met him on that show. So.
Yeah, I think that's kind of funny, but yeah, I met Chris and he's a great guy, and he's got a great show as well. So
We had Chris on Grand Circle Tour, do live cooking
That
on the
was
show.
awesome.
That was a fun show for sure.
that guy's got talent when it comes to cooking stuff.
Yeah.
Serious.
He does. I can't even watch that hummingbird cake video because I just know I'm gonna want to make.
Yeah, that's over at the Disney Done
Oh,
Differently
good.
on YouTube.
Yep.
Alrighty. Well, thanks very much for coming on, you guys. This was fun. We got 3 more spaces on the wheel. Maybe we'll get that next week or the next time I dust off the wheel. So thanks for coming on. Good night, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Saturday night. When is David back? I don't even know.
Is he not? He's not back till next Saturday, is he?
So
Friday?
is he?
I'm not sure.
Is he going to be on next
He
Saturday?
just got there today. I don't know. We'll have to ask him.
Okay, I don't know.
I want to see how his trip goes. So.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be talking all about that. And I won't be here the following week because my daughter's getting married. So
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully he's back next week. We can talk. Have a great night, everybody.
Good.
Stay safe.